Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. Matt dressed for the occasion. I didn't. I'm busy. Thank you, Rogers. I'm busy testing out Sundance hats because I'm looking forward to the one event of the year where I don't have to blow out my bangs for 5 days straight.
How do you not have just a collection of warm hats at this point for Sundance?
So this is the new one that I bought. I buy a new one every year. That's like my thing every year. So I have something fun and new that I'm excited to wear. And this is the new one. It's like a little tighter fitting, but it's very nice and soft. I don't know. Everyone can weigh in. Do you like it? Should I wear it? Should I bring it? Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
The only hats like that I have are still like Turbo Kid and whatever came
in
packages. Like I don't buy beanies usually or anything.
Well, if you went to Sundance, you would have to wear a beanie. Your poor little ears would like freeze the fuck off. I'm not kidding. Like I can't function.
That's fair. There's like a 10% chance I show up next year. I don't know. We'll see.
Like as in 2024?
Sorry, not 20. Like the next, like 2025. We'll see.
I got all excited for a second. I have a request. Can you wear that shirt to the CCAs?
No, because I'll get kicked out.
I mean,
if I could, I would. You know that.
But you might get kicked out.
Yeah, there's no way they're letting me stay if I actually show up like this.
It would be a good moment, though. It'd make for a good memory for us, not for you, but for us.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's a great moment for all of you, as I don't get to go to the party you all get to stay at.
You can't help it. I like fun, silly memories like that at other people's expenses. Shall we? We have a lot to get to today. Shall we go through the super chats first?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, first one is from Wiley. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve to you too, Wiley. My top 10 won't be done till mid-January because Oklahoma gets things late, but my top 2 probably won't change. So Past Lives at number 2 and Wonka at number 1. Look at that. A list with Wonka at number 1. I get it. Feel good movie, man. It's got all the good, warm and fuzzy vibes. I understand.
It does.
You're trying to be kind, I could see. Vanya. American Horror Story 1984, Perry. It's been 4 years. You're right. It's been 4 years, which is why it's not a top priority right now.
That is a fact. That's true.
I have fallen off the AHS train, and it's going to take a lot to get me back on it. Having work for it would. If they need anything moderated, I will happily catch up in a heartbeat. So when that call comes in, you can bet I will binge watch some seasons that I've missed. Mike Joyce with his top 10. Across the Spider-Verse, number 1. Number 2, When Evil Lurks. Number 3, The Holdovers. 4, Air. 5, Blackberry. 6, Oppenheimer. 7, Dungeons and Dragons. 8, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. 9, Godzilla -1. And 10, Bottoms. What are you most excited to see on that list, Matt?
The only thing I haven't seen is, I take it back. There's 2 I still have to catch up on, which I'm going to. Are You There, God? I haven't seen yet, and Blackberry, I hear fucking tremendous things about, and I really do have to see it.
Blackberry is very good. In my inbox. Blackberry is very good. Glenn Howerton in particular is very good in it. I do think he should be in the Oscar conversation, but unfortunately, I think that movie is on the periphery a little too much for it to get that last minute momentum to get him into that category. Sadly.
Yeah, it's an IFC release, which it sucks to say. It shouldn't matter, but I
know. It shouldn't matter, but the truth of the matter is, unless you can compete with the massive campaigns that an Apple or a Netflix runs, you're not going to get in there.
Where's my BlackBerry? Where's my old school BlackBerry? Shipped to me.
I wouldn't be surprised if that would have been a fun promotional thing. You got to be able to pick up some unusable models cheap on eBay or something, right?
Air sent us the
I like that.
We have our own Walkman again, which is hilarious to me.
Someone I can't remember if it was one of you or someone else. Someone recently told me that they purposely kept it and put it in their go bag.
Oh, that's funny.
God forbid. I mean, it's not the worst.
Funny,
not the worst idea in the world.
No, that's solid.
I'm saving mine. Maybe not specifically for that reason, but now it's in the back of my mind. Wiley's back and says, as you guys know, I am a soundtrack guy. So one I want to mention at my two underrated ones, Priscilla for using non-Elvis songs with it working great. Also,
cool.
Past Lives, great score and ending song. Can confirm, both great.
Yeah, past life. I was gonna say those are two undersung. I'd like weirdly enough, like I would kind of throw like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff out
Yeah.
there for like underrated like ones that I think back on now, going, oh wait, that was actually a lot of fun and like stuff like that.
I almost used one of those songs for my montage, but like it didn't feel as right as what I picked, so it got
That's fair.
cut. But there's a lot of Turtles rep in the actual video. Vincent says, "Hey guys, here's my top 10: Oppenheimer, Spider-Verse, Godzilla, Poor Things, Maestro, Holdovers, Ferrari, Napoleon, Ironclaw, Anatomy of a Fall." Love you guys.
Mhm.
Love you too, Vincent, because you are always so supportive of the show, and we appreciate that. And you, Happy New Year, my friend.
I finally watched Iron Claw.
And
I
why?
I think I liked it more because like you and Amelia talked about it on the stream, and
Yeah.
like I think I liked it more than Amelia, but it's still like I don't know. The issues are the issues are weird. I don't know. There's so many choices taken that like you want to tell a true story, but you want to fictionalize it to and like dramatize it to certain degrees, and like what they don't include versus what they include is very odd. I also didn't like Efron. I'm gonna be honest. I had a problem with Efron's
Oh.
performance. Like I actually thought that was one of the weaker elements, which is
Huh.
unfortunate because obviously he's the center stage in this film. So yeah, like it felt like he was wearing a costume. It's not like he was actually transforming into the character. So yeah, I don't know. Like I like parts of it. Like I think parts of it are great. I think it's a middle of the road for me. But yeah, I didn't. I tried.
Okay. The Efron take surprises me a little bit, but to each their own. Next up here, oh, I already pulled it up, is John. Will you be doing the most anticipated 2024 list for movies and TV? I thought movies were great in 2023, but I feel like TV really killed it in 2023. I mean, next week we'll do movies. I don't know about TV. Maybe we'll each give like a shout out to a TV show we're looking
Yeah, you can
forward
do
to
that.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like that plan. I
You can do
like
that.
that plan. And now Mental Me says, do you believe a best song should be in the movie?
Interesting. Like it should be like actually in the film, not just a company.
Admittedly,
No, like
I'm not super clear on the rules unless you mean
yeah.
like can it not play over the end credits?
Well, I think that's what the question is. Like, do you believe a
Yeah.
best song should be allowed to be nominated if it's not
My
in the
brain
movie?
immediately didn't we have that conversation about soundtracks last week?
We had like a kind of similar
Yeah.
conversation, but not really the same. It was last time it was the soundtrack versus like the
Yeah.
accompanying like
Oh,
a
yeah.
score
That's what
versus
we're talking
soundtrack.
about.
That was what we had, score versus soundtrack. But like I don't know, it's a valid question. It's like I don't know, should best song come like should Peaches be there over something that was just like added to like the end of a song, something like that? Like I don't know.
I think if an original song was created to be part of the movie, that's enough for me. I've heard a
Okay.
lot, and like I do think like in particular the first song to play over the end credits does contribute to the lasting impact of a movie, or it can.
I agree.
I think it's fair game.
Yeah, I have no dog in the fight. I'm just curious.
All right.
No dog in the
That's where
fight.
we stand on that. Um I'm reading some of the comments on that.
Yeah,
Peaches should absolutely have been shortlisted. If my 2-year-old nephew has anything to say about this, he would say yes, Peaches should have been on the short list. He sings
absolutely.
Peaches all the time now.
We have the Peaches vinyl now.
Oh, is that the thing that's in the mail?
I mean, I think you should have
I
got it
might.
already. Hold on.
It's like like some things I don't think all of us get with consistency. I don't think I have that.
Oh,
I'm curious
really?
to see what it looks like. Yeah.
I'm pretty like literally they sent like a
Oh,
tiny
cool.
so it's like it's really nice too. So
Oh, neat.
it came with Peaches and the Mario rap from the new movie.
Maybe
So
maybe
like
I do have that.
it's a little
Maybe I
little
do have that
double-sided.
and like put it in the wrong pile or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
I
like
do.
we got a poster and we got this.
There was a lot of stuff that came in the mail. So there's
Oh
a
yeah.
good chance that I received something and it's not coming to mind right now, but
Very
I
fair.
don't know. I don't know. I'm just making it cooler in here because I'm baking right now. I think it's because I have a hat. I put a hat on that I'm like now way hotter than I was like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Um, shall we do it? Shall we get into our top
Yeah.
10s of 2023?
Do it.
So I think because most people know my top 5, we should start it where you do your 10 through 6 first, and then we'll switch for the top 5 because like mine doesn't come with much of a reveal.
Oh, okay. So you want me like to go through
So
it and then
you reveal your number 10 first, and then I'll reveal my number 10.
okay. Give me 1 second because I'm Googling this one that I'm gonna say because like there's a little bit of like title change to it. I just want to make sure I
Now
get
I'm
it
really
correct.
curious what it is.
Well, okay. So this movie came out this year. It was a 2023 release, but it was a 2021 festival film, and
Okay.
it billed as, let me get this totally correct. I believe it was yes. So it was billed as Freaks versus the Reich. And what it is basically like circus performers, let's call them. Let's say like freaks, whatever, like a strong man and stuff like that, take on the Nazis. And it is very much a Sisu-esque kind of fantasy world where something happens and Nazis are defeated by a ragtag group again of like, let me pull up here. It's an Italian film. It is absolutely foreign. Takes place
This
in the
is
middle
your
of
number 10 of the whole year?
yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
I'm not judging. I just didn't expect you to say something that I didn't know anything about.
Yeah. So that's like kind of, I'm bringing it up. It's one of those movies I'm bringing up because it absolutely is my number 10, but also like it died a festival death in the way that like people loved it at festivals, but then it got delayed 2 years. It didn't get the right distro. It gets
Hmm.
pushed to now. It's really fun. It's super surreal fantasy because you're in a period World War II time, again 1943. So they do a really good job recreating the time period, but then all of a sudden there's these weird scenes that pull it back to modern day where like one of the evil officers like starts playing this instrumental piano piece and it starts pulling in songs from like modern times and stuff like that. And the mind fuckery of watching Freaks Out and just being in this bizarre universe that is playing with time, playing with all these things. I also don't want to like spoil much more of it because there might be more to the story. Yeah, it's called Freaks Out. God, it's very fun. And it's fun in a way that again, you watch something like Overlord or you watch
Mm.
something like Sisu and you watch something in that realm, and that is what Freaks Out is really going for. But it might not be as like action forward as those at all times. Like Sisu obviously is hitting over the head with like
Yeah.
gore and action. Where Freaks Out takes a lot more time to tell a story about outcasts, freaks, literally. Yeah, very Del Toro leaning. Absolutely, it fits in with Del Toro. So yeah, like this is gonna be the one that. There you go. So if it's streaming as Freaks Out was the title it was given. Freaks versus the Reich might be the one it's actually going on now, possibly. So yeah, I don't know. My 10 is really obscure. I understand that. It's an Italian film about, once again, like circus performers taking on Nazis and destroying them as like a secret super team. But it's good. It's really fucking good, and I wasn't expecting that.
Okay. I'm into that. I'm into that. I love the idea of you picking something that's not really on my radar because now it gives me something new to watch. I will say there's a similarity between our two picks because mine is also streaming on Prime, but
Okay.
it is not an obscure movie. It's a movie that everyone is watching right now, and it's Saltburn. I love that movie.
There you go.
I love how outrageous it can be. I love the mystery of the first watch, but then also the things that you could find when you know exactly what's going on and can track certain performances in a different way by giving it a rewatch and going back to the beginning. I think crafts wise, it's exceptional. It's got some of the most iconic costumes that I've seen all year. I think the cinematography is next level and should very much be in the Oscar conversation in that category. I think he's a little on the bubble, but hopefully he gets into that category. And a lot of times my fate, and again, this is probably well worth reminding everyone, we are not naming the best movies of the year. Also, like, what
Yeah,
is
our
best
favorite.
even worth? Like, everybody has a different opinion. I mean, it's the same thing when you talk about reviews. Everybody comes at something from a different angle, processes it a different way. But these are our favorite movies of the year. So there's literally nothing wrong about anything we could say right now because they're our favorite. It might not be your favorite, but it's
Fuck you.
our favorite. So just wanted to point that out. But Saltburn is on this list for one reason, that a lot of my movies made the cut this year and make the cut every year. I tend to be someone who is easy to call something a favorite when I find it so rewatchable, especially
Okay.
when I can't stop rewatching it. And Saltburn was a problematic movie for me in that respect this year. I have probably watched that movie too many times when I should be watching new things, but I love Saltburn. It is my 10th favorite movie of 2023.
Yeah, I agree with you on the craft stuff. Absolutely, like up and down, like all the production design, all the costumes, everything is so good in there. I will spoil and say it's not in my top 10, so this is something that will you can share alone. And I liked it. I did like Saltburn. I think there's a lot of I don't know. The internet's fucking, of course, always going to have discourse, and it's the thing of the read that a lot of people have that it has to be about class, and the fact that it just fucking isn't. Like all these
Oh,
people are
yeah.
pissed off on it because like oh, it's portraying, like we're supposed to feel bad for the upper class and like the middle classes, and it's just like no, that's not it at all. Like there is no meaning to it. It's literally just like it's just a movie about an untrustworthy narrator and like how that can we do trust the narrator because of all our preconceptions, and then all of a sudden it turns out that like no, everyone sucks. Like they're all shitty. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of
I
those that
think
yeah.
I think the way you're describing it is accurate, but I do think it has great meaning. And in particular, one idea that I've really latched onto is the fact that it shows a bunch of people that literally have everything, but it's never
Yep.
enough. No matter how
Yep.
much you have, you're always going to want something more, what someone else has. And I don't know. One thing the movie reminded me of is to appreciate what I do have, and especially the fact that I surround myself with people who won't do that to me to get what I have.
Yeah. And like 100%, you are correct. I think it's just a thing that I don't know the way certain people are saying that the way the film spins it that we should feel bad for them, and I'm
No,
like no,
that's
they
not my
very
read.
clearly like the line that obviously Rose, God, I forget the line exactly, but when she's talking about her dead,
Oh,
God, I'm
what's
blanking
her
on the
face?
name.
Carrie Mulligan's character.
Yes, Carrie Mulligan. That's sorry, yeah, Carrie Mulligan's character. Like when she just says, like like she just so offhandedly is like, yeah, she's dead, whatever. Like, how are you supposed to think that that's
What's
someone
the
we
exact
care?
line? It's like it's something like
It's very good.
she'd do anything for attention.
Right, she'd do anything for attention. I like, how do you watch that line and be like, oh, obviously we're supposed to feel bad for these people? Like, no, it's very clearly painting them as bastards. Yeah, I don't know. It's Saltburn was an interesting one. I think I don't know. I think people are reading too much into it, weirdly enough, and just aren't enjoying the ride per se. So yeah, but
Yeah.
not in my top 10.
I've enjoyed that ride too many times. All right, what is your number 9? People are gonna be so
This
mad at my number 9 also. Like, if Saltburn made someone mad, my 9 is definitely gonna make people mad.
Well, my 9 is American Fiction. I'm just curious. You just said that,
Ooh,
now I'm like curious. No, that I think that was
surprise.
one of my biggest surprises of the year. Going into
Mhm.
American Fiction, it was just one of those. It sounds like an awards film. It just sounds like one of those ones that's has a strong theme and a strong message, and sometimes it turns out like Rustin, and sometimes it turns out like American Fiction. We talked about this already. I'm just saying it because
I know.
I did not like Rustin as much as you did, so
I
like
get
that
it.
is just my take. But no, I think American Fiction is really sharp. It's really witty, and it kind of boils down to what I said. I think we were talking about like 2 weeks ago or whenever. And like one of the last lines in the film, or sorry, not one of the last lines, one of the lines that stay with you is when they're talking about how Black culture is represented in media, and how sometimes a film will be described as like important, this and that, but it's not really good. It's just one of those things that we feel like we have to support because blah blah blah. And I think American Fiction is one of those films that like is good. It's one of those films that deals with these has these conversations, has them very loud and upfront, and it deals with a different perspective, but also is a tremendous movie on the back end of it. Like it's not something I would describe as important or anything like that. Just alone, it's something I would describe as just a really competently funny movie that is also very fucking serious.
And it's got a big heart. It's very warm. I really love American Fiction too. It's definitely in my top 20, but I will say it got bumped out of my top 10. I wasn't thrilled about that, but that is what happened with that
Fair.
movie. I quite like it, and in particular, I like every single performance in that movie. I think it's one of the best cast movies of the year. I think it should be up for a lot of ensemble opportunities. Obviously, not at the Oscars, but at other award ceremonies. But
Yeah.
the performance in particular that I've taken to most in that is Sterling K. Brown. I feel like that's a perfect example of someone taking what was on the page, like a solid thing that was on the page, and breathing such a sense of life into the character that feels so uniquely him. He's another one again on the bubble, but I think he should very much be a real contender for a Best Supporting Actor nomination. I think he's phenomenal in it. All right, you ready to hear my 9?
Sure.
My number 9 is Leave the World Behind.
Okay.
I can't
Rob Hunter is with you on that one.
I can't
He's really
stop
cool.
I can't stop watching that movie. I can't stop thinking about that movie. I'll repeat what I said in my review. I watched that movie at AFI Fest. I loved it so, so much and was so fascinated by that story that I immediately went home and I bought the audiobook and finished the audiobook in like mere days. I got as obsessed with the book as I was with the film. And then it was one of those situations where one wound up enhancing the other because I think it's such a strong adaptation. It definitely adapts the story to screen and to a current audience. Not that the book was written that long ago, but like, let's face it, every single year that passes, viewer habits and interests change. And I think the changes they made to the source material were really, really smart and effective on screen. And it also wound up putting both versions of the story in a place where, like, yeah, they align, but they're different enough where it's worthwhile to have both experiences. And they add different layers to the scenario too, which I appreciate. But another example of a perfectly cast film, I think everyone in the movie is excellent. Those 4 leads needed pitch perfect performances, and that's exactly what they got. And then just in general, I love disaster movies, and I am fascinated, entertained, but also wildly disturbed by the fact that Leave the World Behind's disaster scenario feels like the closest to a reality compared to other ones we often see, with like a meteor hitting the earth, or I don't know, any other wild thing you can come up with. It feels like that could happen at any second. Speaking of which, I can't remember how many nights ago it was now. It was maybe like 2
Speaking of
nights.
which, disasters that could
Well,
kill us all.
it was maybe like 2 nights ago here, and all of a sudden we lost cable and internet. But on top of that, then our cell phone service was also terrible. And I'm like, fuck, it's happening. It's happening. But no, I mean, that was like a blip on my
Flash in the
radar,
pan.
and then it was gone. But
Yeah.
it's something that I'm thinking about. I'm not gonna lie, thinking about
No,
it.
I want to catch this one soon. Maybe that's tomorrow morning after tonight and stuff like that.
Highly
When I got nothing
recommend.
to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Okay. Yeah, no, I like that. It's again, Rob Hunter's right there with you. I like. It's so funny you mentioned that though, because I saw somebody else tweeting this morning. It was just like, they're like, I don't think I've seen a movie as bad as Leave the World Behind in X amount of years. Like, it was just one of those like either you love or hate it
I
kind
love it.
of deals.
One other thing I want to say about it too is that I also love the style. The style of the movie in every respect is so specific. Like the camera movements they use, the music cues, everything is like you could tell that book could have been adapted with a variety of like visual styles and tones, but Sam Esmail chose something very, very specific that feels like, again, it's unique to him. Like only he could have brought this book to life this way. And I
Awesome.
found it incredibly catchy and creative, and I like what he did with it in that respect a lot.
Cool. No, I love a divisive movie. That's one of my favorite
Yeah,
things. Is a movie that like half the people I talk to love and half hate. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one I want to
yeah.
watch.
I'll just bring this up really quickly because this kind of pertains to Leave the World Behind. Mental Me wants to know, have you seen the trailer for Civil War? We talked about that. Did we talk about
I
that?
don't think we talked about it.
I think I talked about it on dailies.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it.
I like that trailer
Yeah.
a
No,
lot.
I'm in the trailer and the concept. Like,
I want to see it. I want to see that movie
I'm
quite a bit.
holding out obviously until I see the film, but like based on the trailer, I don't know. I love the whole thing about like journalists investigate, like the angle they're taking on this. This isn't just like one of those action Civil War movies. Like I feel like this is going to have a really unique kind of perspective on it, and hopefully,
Mhm.
from what I've seen, and Jesse Plemons just
I'm always down for anything with Jesse Plemons. My folks were just watching, Killers of the Flower Moon, so he's fresh on my brain right now. Victor Spell jumping in to say, "What's up, Perry and Matt? Let's see, I don't have a top 10 this year, honestly, but here's my top 5. Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Godzilla -1, The Holdovers, and Poor Things." All solid choices right there, Victor. Happy New Year to you, my friend.
yeah,
All right, Matt, we are up to our number 8. You are up first.
cool.
You have many
Again,
windows open, don't you?
do I? Oh, am I struggling here?
You choppy. You choppy.
Copy? No, I don't, but that is unfortunate.
Oh, I
Um,
I thought.
could be my notes application. For some reason, that takes up a ton of space. Anyway, my number. I don't know why, but apparently,
You have a
um,
bajillion notes or something?
maybe I guess too many notes. In any case, number 8, easy, Barbie. Like just
Hey,
well known film. Like I don't know if like it's
wasn't
been talked about
expecting
to death.
that.
I don't think that we have to get too in deep with it, but I mean, it's just entertaining. And again, I'll go back to like smart and witty and the way to take like this is a product placement movie in a lot of ways. This is about Barbie. This is about
Mm,
like something that exists and one of those. It's the prime example of like, oh, take an original IP and do something unique with it. Why are we doing things that like we know already? Blah blah blah. Well, because you can be really creative with existing IPs, and you can be very creative with something like Barbie in the way that it approaches, how Barbie has influenced the culture and what it has done to, from the very early days to like now. Like, I don't know. I think it's just a really well told story that you can do with a movie based on a toy. Like it's just it knocks that concept out of the park. And again, I mean, between Margot Robbie and Mr. Gosling, like Gosling should be up for goddamn award. Like
I mean, he
he is so
is.
good.
He's
I
I'd be
know, I
shocked
know, but like
I'd be shocked if he didn't get that nomination.
until I see it. It's one of those things like
Yeah,
until I see it, I'm
I
just
get it.
saying like
I
he
get it.
should be, but like
I like Barbie quite a bit as well. I think folks already know I really, really like the movie. I do have a couple of criticisms of it. So that kind of knocked it out of, my top 15, maybe my top 20, but I do think it's a real achievement in terms of adapting a popular IP because they did something absolutely stunning and also with great purpose, and I think that is very, very impressive. And
yeah,
again, craftsmanship of that movie, something else. All right, my
so
number
good.
8. My number 8
Yep.
is Bottoms. I love watching Bottoms over and over and over. It gets funnier and funnier every time I watch it. I love the fact that when I'm watching Bottoms, I feel like I'm watching a movie where a whole bunch of people really wanted to tell this story, tell it their way, and not hold back in the least. And that's exactly how the movie plays. Like a whole bunch of like-minded people that really understood the assignment and then got the opportunity to swing big within that assignment. And because of that, I think Bottoms works exceptionally well. Obsessed with that movie. You don't like Bottoms too
This
much, right?
I did not. So this is one of
Yeah.
those ones that again we differ on. Bottoms to me absolutely had its moments. There are so many times where it is hitting on the highest cylinder of its concept, and where like it's playing with all these very obscure kind of teenage comedy tropes and things of that level. I think Marshawn Lynch has some really funny lines thrown in
Yeah.
there, and obviously the leading cast and all that stuff. But I don't know. I felt like half the time it was so on its game and knew what it was doing, and the other time it was having like an identity crisis where it was really stuck between being a surreal high school take and then trying to be super serious about it. I never thought it came together in the end, so I struggled with it.
I don't know. I feel like it was never really super serious.
No, I think it's struggling with though. Like I think that it kind of leans into the territory too far away.
Can I
I don't know.
can I ask you how many times have you watched it?
I've seen it once.
There's a lot of other things you have to watch. Watch that one again. I'm telling you, watch it again.
But like a good movie shouldn't take 2 watches to get me to love it. It should just work the first time.
Maybe, but also opinions can change. Opinions can
Opinions can
change
change.
on rewatches and over
Okay.
time, depending on personal interests. I feel really confident in the fact that you're gonna watch it again and be like, "Oh shit, this is kind of awesome."
I'll give it a try in a few years or whatever.
I
Obviously, I'll let it pass.
I also do think that the watch it again suggestion, mentality, whatever you want to call it, heavily applies to movies that take really big swings. Like where when a movie is so different and maybe so outrageous, it can take a minute to like really like soak in and appreciate it for what it is. Like I keep hearing something similar about Poor Things also, because it's so different, it's so wild, it's so bonkers
Yeah.
that people either have to sit with it for longer or they have to see it again and go into it knowing, having a better understanding of what it's giving. And I keep hearing the same thing about really long movies too. Movies like Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer. Some folks out there, I've had conversations where they tell me it's just like it's so long and there's so much that you can't walk out and be like, shit, that was the greatest movie ever. You have to really sit and think about it, maybe even rewatch it. And like sometimes with a second watch too, it gives you a like more of a bird's eye view of like a whole big 3.5 hour epic, for example. So I
Yeah.
don't know. That's just my take on
I
rewatches
get
and the
it.
changing of
No,
opinions.
I get it. And again, like that makes sense for something like Killers that is like 3.5 hours and it's so much to sit down with and digest, versus the 80-minute Rachel Sennott AO comedy. Again, like I'll gladly give it another try, but like I don't know. Like I kind of feel like this one just missed me in the first time, and I don't know
Ra-
if that second's gonna.
Rachel Sennett and Io Debris are perfect in those
Yeah,
roles.
I'm
Perfect.
not denying how talented they are. Trust me. Again, they made me laugh during this film. It is the frustration of being up here with it and then going down here with it in random scenes. Like that was me.
Watch it again. I'll be up here the whole
Fine.
time. All right. All right. I'll stop pressuring you. Your number 7, please.
Another one I don't think a lot of people saw, and it is called "If You Were the Last." Did you
Mm,
see it?
I did not see it.
So it played South by. I saw it at South by. And this is yet another film that played a festival. I don't know if it got super
Whoa.
big.
I didn't see it, but I'm aware of this one.
Yeah, it played South by Southwest, and then it basically just showed up on Peacock, I believe.
Yeah. Peacock.
Yeah, so Peacock. So like literally it plays the festival, it gets some buzz, it just isn't heard from again and shows up on Peacock. So like unless you have Peacock and are just randomly scrolling through, you don't know it's out there, you don't know it exists. Anyway, if you were
Sounds like
last,
Peacock does that to a lot of good movies. Like, isn't that the same thing that happened with Sick?
yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same. I mean, Sick, I understand more because that's a harder sell as a slasher based around COVID-19. Like that's one of those things. It's like, do people really want to relive that? How do you market it? How do you do this?
Yeah, but
So,
still, why do you buy a movie and then get lazy about it? Like just
oh,
like especially when it's a good movie. Like you
I
don't have to
think,
funnel an
yeah,
extreme budget into it. Just put a little effort into it.
no, I get it. I just think more like it. Well, it's a streamer mentality. What does Netflix really do for any of the movies they get when they promote it? Like, it's just the thing of like,
I don't know. I've done a lot of
I
Netflix junkets this year.
well, for their FYC stuff. In any case, we're not.
No, not for FYC stuff, just in general. Like they did an junket for the Outlaws.
Did they? Oh, that's
Yeah.
fair. Okay. In any case, we're not here to talk about Sick.
Oh yeah.
That is coming up.
Sorry.
The really quick log line that I'll give on If You Were Last is Zoe Chow and Anthony Mackie are astronauts caught in space, and they don't think they're going to be rescued. They've already been in space now for an extended period of time. They're just living because that's all they can do and surviving until they get a beacon out and to get saved. And the question arises if they should have sex. It's quite simple. It's a romantic comedy in the sense of like, we might die up here. Do we keep just going through the motions and not enjoy ourselves? It's also a question about like, meeting someone in weird circumstances and the fact that like feelings can change, because one of the dilemmas is they both have relationships back on Earth, but is that a thing that matters once again when you're hurtling through space with no way of knowing if you're coming home? It's actually quite light though as you're watching it. It's very much a quirky comedy. It's not this huge, deep, introspective, like gonna make you feel terrible kind of films. It makes you feel kind of good. I don't know. They just do really well together. It's really cute and sincere. They do everything from like watch Alien together, and Anthony Mackie freaks out because he's so scared, and like there's these really cute like chore scenes and stuff. So I don't know. Give If You Were Last a try. It's a really nice little film. I like nice things sometimes.
I'm into it. You sell it well. For the record, Netflix took Rebel Moon to CCXP, and then they also did a massive junket and premiere in LA. So they
Yeah.
did promote that movie. They promoted that movie quite a bit. That means we're up to my number 7. My number 7 is a Sundance movie, and it makes me extremely happy when a movie goes all the way from January to the end of the year and it stays on the top of my mind, and it is just as good, if not better, as I watch it and rewatch it throughout the year. That movie is Birth Rebirth. I think this is a phenomenal spin on Frankenstein, and I think it's got 3 of the best performances of the year. In particular, Judy Reyes and Marin Ireland stand out big time. They do have more screen time, but I'll also give a big shout out to Brita Wool, who takes a, a smaller role, so to speak, but makes you care deeply for her character, which makes what happens to her mean something. And it's not easy to do something like that in a film that's structured this way. And she really excels. But my God, that movie is really something else. And it's so well done in every single respect. The performances, obviously, I think it's just an exceptional script and idea. And a lot of the effects work, the special effects work in that movie is something else. So I highly recommend watching that one on Shudder if you haven't had the opportunity to yet, because that's a top tier horror this year, clearly.
Yeah, you were. I worked on the top. We did a joint list on Slash Film for the top horror films of the year, and I think it was definitely high up on BJ Colangelo's, and it was Chris Evangelisti's number 1 horror movie of the year. He loved Birth Rebirth so much. I didn't really make my top 10, or it would have been like the end of my top 20 if I did like a top 20 for horror. I did just mention it on a little list I did for IGN about some underrated horror movies from the year that you can stream right now. So it definitely made that. I liked Birth Rebirth. It fits a lot in, like, if you watch Larry Fessenden's like independent horror movies, it has a lot of similarities there, where like it's just a more grounded, gritty, New York based independent horror film. And like I like, that's a compliment. Like, it's a totally compliment to say it fits with something.
I like that quality quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, it's definitely got a lot going on to it. Judy Reyes too. It's so funny. I'm like, she's still for me, it's like Scrubs is always what I think of her.
Such a turn. And her and Marin Ireland just have like the absolute perfect chemistry that they needed. I also wanted to look up the young actor who plays
the daughter.
I want to make sure to give her a shout out too, because I thought she was quite good as well. And again, like a movie like that, a scenario like that, a four-hander, I guess, in a sense like that, does not work unless you have like a young actor who can believably portray what happens to her. Love that. Nothing's working right now.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I do. Marin Island, like, God, so fucking good.
Her time needs to come. I'm not saying that she has not been delivering good work or that people don't know her, but she deserves to be, like, again, top tier, well-known talent who is on the award season path more often than she is. Like, I love the fact that she was recognized for her work in Eileen, but I don't know, just like consistently delivers, and I feel like doesn't get the attention. Oh, AJ Lister. That was her name. I also don't think I shouted out the director, Laura Moss, who is absolutely incredible. I mean, this is like a very, very well orchestrated film, and you could totally tell. Go watch Birth Rebirth, everybody.
Yeah, it's really fun. This is random, but like, talking about streamers and horror, like, I was actually having this thought the other day, because my parents back home only have Apple and Netflix. Those are the 2 streaming services. And like, I was looking through Netflix going like, okay, I've seen most of these horror films. I'm like just looking for something to watch. And like, I just went on Apple and forgetting that like they haven't really dipped their toe yet. They haven't really done anything with horror there yet. So like, it'll be interesting to see if they want to, but it feels like they've taken other routes, and that's fine.
Yeah. Maybe soon. All right, we're up to number 6, and it is your turn first, and then we'll switch, and I'll go first.
Yeah, that's fine. Ava DuVernay's Origins. Fucking.
Oh, wow.
fucking ruin me. Every year there's a
Huh,
movie that like comes out of
all
nowhere and just
right.
kicks the shit out of me emotionally, and like that was that one this year. I was dead. I was like in my basement again, like in my family home, just like in the basement, just fucking crying watching this movie. My mom's like coming down to do laundry and stuff in between as it's going on, and like she's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "No, I don't know how to
Man,
answer that right now."
I should watch that with my folks before I head back.
It's
I
so good.
I wish they were running a better campaign for that
Yeah,
one.
they haven't really done
It's
much.
getting overlooked big time, and I feel like it's fallen out of the conversation, maybe a little too much at this point.
Yeah,
anything can happen at any time, but that one does not feel like it is in the conversation the way it should be,
no,
and that's
I
that's
think
a big
unfortunately,
old bummer. Big old
yeah,
bummer.
it's unfortunately out of the conversation because
Mm,
like man, again, just like the themes it is dealing with are important, but it's not what it's just about. It's also about like the relationships happening outside of it. And like it's
mm,
such an interesting movie about the creative process that like it doesn't show it be I feel like sometimes in Hollywood, like showing a creative artist in a story and like showing them go through the process of whether it's like making a movie or writing a song or writing a book, it looks easier than it actually is. And I feel like Origins gets correct like how fucking painstaking the work is to be like someone who
mm.
takes on a creative passion as your life and like what you're actually like working at. So like I don't know, like the idea that like, you know, the story kind of writes itself as you're doing it, but it takes so much work to actually dig out the story. Like
Okay.
so much goes into it between all the interviews and stuff like that while this woman's writing a book. And I don't know, like I think it's a really good take on the creative process.
I was trying to think of another movie that shows the creative process in a believable manner. Nothing's coming to mind
I'm
right
sure
now.
I'm sure there are more, but this one felt really just I don't know, it just the right amount of holy fuck, this is a monumental task to write a book and then have it be about something again as important as like racism and caste and stuff like that and drawing intelligent fucking conversations out of all of this.
Rock solid pick right there, Matt. All
Yeah.
right, now my number 6 couldn't be more different. My number 6 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant
Yeah,
Mayhem.
not the same. Not the same.
I love that movie so
It's
much.
good. It's good.
The first time I screened the movie, I screened an unfinished cut and still walked out of the movie and said to myself, like, shit, that could be one of my favorite movies of the year. And then I saw a finished cut and I'm like, yes, that is one of my favorite movies of the year. I am absolutely fascinated and in awe of that CG 2D hybrid animation
Yeah.
style. Like I feel like my eyes are like popping out of my head when I watch that stuff, when I watch that kind of animation and see it executed so well. That movie is absolutely stunning. Perfect soundtrack score and music cues in it. And I love, love, love the casting one, but the way they recorded that movie with the kids in the same room and the fact that I could feel the effect that that had on the movie, job well done. And it's not easy to do. That is an audio nightmare. It was worth going through all the effort to record that way. Those performances are exactly what they need to be. And then on top of that, because again, this is my favorite list, on a personal level, it meant a lot to me to see a really good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, in particular, one that I could watch as an adult and feel like it's transporting me back to my childhood, but also one that gave me the feeling that it could be an on ramp for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles newcomers. Like that just, as a Ninja Turtles lover, it just filled my heart to know a movie exists like that. So that is also one of my favorite movies of the year. My number 6, keeping my fingers crossed so tight for that best animated feature nomination. I know it doesn't really have a chance to win, but
Yeah.
please let it get into that category.
It might be in a top 20. If I expanded, it might be top 20 for me because I did enjoy it a great deal. Not gonna lie about that. Like it's fun. It's such a good reboot, like you
Good.
said. It's the
So
correct
good.
mentality of how to like kind of tweak things a little bit and get that reboot going for new fans, but still give I had the toys for days. I had the bus that shot the little pizza discs and everything.
Yeah.
And like I would watch the cartoons. Like I that was a lot. Turtles were big on me. Turtles in Time, one of the best arcade games
Oh
ever.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
Super Nintendo. Yeah. So yeah. Like so it like as a lover, it works. As someone
Okay.
else who like might not know it, yeah, I think it's still a great entry point. So I
Yeah.
agree with that. So then I go still. We did.
So now I'll go. I'll go because like the rest of my list isn't really like a big reveal because if you watch this channel, you've seen my top 5 and you already know that my number 5 movie of the year is Oppenheimer. Man, Matt, that movie, every single time I watch it, I am even more in awe of how important it is for every single department to deliver and how everything comes together like seamlessly and perfectly in a way where every single department's work is uplifting each other. And that's why I think a movie like that is so incredibly effective. And like just I think the script structure is so smart. I think those performances are phenomenal. And the more I watch it, the more I appreciate certain things. Like Emily Blunt's performance in particular is the one that keeps growing on me more and more with every single watch, just because I feel like I think this is true of all of the main characters actually, but her in particular, I'm especially struck by this, the idea of the internal being external for the viewer, which I think is a really difficult thing for an actor to convey, especially when you're not technically the main character of the movie. So I love her work. Cillian Murphy, I want to see him to go on to get nominated and possibly win. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'm really excited about the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is likely to get nominated. I love the fact that Christopher Nolan could win for Best Director. And it's a Best Picture frontrunner that I think very much deserves to be there. Yay for Oppenheimer. Yay for the box office that it got, because Matt, it's how nice is it to see a really good movie make the money it deserves? Makes me so happy. And big shout out to Christopher Nolan's wife, who also does not get the credit she deserves nearly enough. Emma Thompson. She has been a producer on all his films, and what I would give for Oppenheimer to win Best Picture and for her to make the acceptance speech, that would make me really happy.
Yeah, and I mean, like the box office comment is like not even just a good movie made that much money. Like a good historical biodrama with, of course, like some flourishes here and there, but like what is largely just a historical period piece in ways like did that kind of money. Like that's pretty impressive.
I was just checking my notes too because I wanted to make sure to say this as well. The score,
Yeah,
Matt.
still favorite score. Still favorite score.
I can't stop listening to it. I can't stop listening to it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. If we did a top 11 or top 12, I would be mentioning Oppenheimer, but it is not in my top 5. So just again, spoiler, like we're not going to go over there.
All right, we've done it. Next is your 5. That's the order we're going in.
Yeah. I think you have this in your top 5, but my 5 is gonna be Poor Things.
I might have it. I mean, everybody knows I can spoil mine. We just don't want you to spoil yours. Poor Things is my number 2.
Yeah, so Poor Things is my number 5. I'm sure for many of the same reasons, just like performances up and down once again are just spot fucking on. There's so much good work with it's Yorgos just making this weird fucking zany world where it's, the characters can be eccentric. The production design, again, outstanding, just down to these like weird floating cable cars and the design of the city, and all of it just looks so good. Top costumes, we don't have to talk much about that because once again, costumes we've talked about them exhaustively here. But yeah, I just think I think Emma might have my favorite performance from an actress. If I'm being just straight up honest, I don't think it's beaten. I keep like looking at other films and trying to go there, but I do think Emma Stone has my favorite performance this year from an actress.
Yeah, of all of the actresses in that category or likely to be in that I think it's probably Emma Stone, Lily Gladstone, Carey Mulligan, and like the bottom 2 slots are a little bit toss up at the moment. We don't like 100% sure know how those are going to shake out, but those seem to be the clear front runners. I'm not going to be mad if any of them win, but if I was part of the Academy, if I had a vote, it would be unquestionable. Emma Stone would get my vote.
Yeah, it's the dancing scene, it's the conversations with Ruffalo, it's just so many times where she is just doing so phenomenally with this character and doing so phenomenally in like projecting how the brain is kind of growing and how her maturity is coming to
Mhm.
place and how she learns about her own autonomy and stuff like that. Like it's really fucking well done. And someone mentioned it, like Ruffalo himself, I think
So good.
deserves, like, I would not hate him getting a best supporting at all. I think that would be amazing. Again, the way he plays
He's
against his
likely
nature,
to.
like he you could tell he's struggling to do what he's doing, but he's doing it so well.
He's likely to get nominated.
Yeah.
When I did the junket interview with him and Willem Dafoe paired, one of his answers to like one of my like big detailed questions, he was talking about the fact that when he first signed on for this role, it felt like a role that was wrong for him to take because
Yeah.
it's so different from what people expect of him. And then he took it and it was scary, but it wound up being so right. And that thought excites me too, because it is
Yeah.
very right for him. He's so good in it.
Yep.
Um, Now it's my number four. My number four is Evil Dead Rise. This is a perfect Evil Dead movie, Matt. It's so good. Yeah, it is. It's like really, I can't
Oh,
think
I
of
loved it. But like
oh,
now I'm curious of your rankings of the Evil Dead movies. That's the only thing I'm curious
I
about now.
so of the horror franchise rankings, this would stress me out the most because
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to come down to maybe like mood or something because the Evil Dead franchise is one of the most consistent horror film franchises. I think all of the movies are great. Like the only way I could pick between them, I guess, is depending on what I want. If I want like harder, heavy gore horror, if I want something, that skews more Army of Darkness, more comedy. I don't know. I don't know. But I think
Sorry, because the way you said it, the way you said it's a perfect Evil Dead movie, I was kind of like, I'm curious now because it's my number 3 horror movie of the year. I'm not arguing
okay.
again. You're not getting any argument from me. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
this movie, but like, I have to do it because I'm just curious. I go remake. I go 2. I go Army. I go probably Rise and probably the original. Which is so fucking insane to say. I think I might like the original least, but that is still with the comment that every one of them is an above average horror film. So even the
Yeah.
worst Evil Dead movie, quote unquote, because that's why rankings are like whatever. Like we can rank them all day, but in the end of the day, like the worst Evil Dead movie is still better than most horror movies out
I
there.
know. If I had to rank them right now, I think because it's so fresh on my mind and because I'm talking about it, I would probably say Evil Dead Rise first. Like if I asked myself the question, if I could walk away from Merri Hour and push play on one Evil Dead movie, I'd
Yeah,
probably pick Evil Dead Rise right now. And then I might pick
interesting.
Evil
Okay,
Dead 2013 next. Then I
yeah,
might go OG Evil Dead. Then I would go Evil Dead 2. Then I would go Army of Darkness. But it like that could
yeah.
switch tomorrow for all I know. But anyway, I
All
do
right,
I
go. I
do
was just
think
curious.
like I'll use the P word again. I think it's a perfect Evil Dead movie. I think that Lee Cronin works with the mythology so exceptionally well. I think the movie excels because it tells it tells a contained story with that mythology, so it's able to grow it in new ways, add in new characters, and therefore welcome in Evil Dead newcomers. So again, I love the fact when a new installment to a popular franchise is playing to what people already know they love, but also welcoming in others in the process. And again, I mean, just like the 2013 Evil Dead movie, the gore in this is exquisite. It's beautiful. It's
Good.
beautiful.
It's good.
I'll say perfect again. Perfectly designed and executed. A lot of the scare scenes are so incredibly clever. Like I love the peephole stuff. I love the
Yeah.
elevator sequence. The marauder stuff is just like wonderfully vicious. I love it. I could go on and on. And also, I think Alyssa Sutherland gives one of the best Deadite performances ever. And I also think truly it is one of the best performances of the year. Like, again, if I were an Academy voter, I would dead serious put her on my ballot. I mean, it
It's
would be no, I don't think anybody else would be voting for her, but I would.
it's Jane Levy all over again. Like for me, like because I
Oh,
think
good.
just what you said. Like
Oh,
it's
good.
just I think Alyssa. I think Jane is just this much better than Alyssa, but it's
Mm.
so it's so
They're doing,
minuscule
they're
that like Yeah.
It's also like I don't know. They're doing kind of different things.
So I was writing about Evil Dead Rise recently, and I almost did write that like Alyssa Sutherland is doing a different Deadite than Jane, but like it's not really, because they're both still going against their family. They're both still tormenting the people they love. But like I like tone. I like the tone of
I
Cronin.
think the fact that it's sister versus mother makes it different. And then like that's another reason
Yeah.
why I appreciate both movies too, is because they wind up with like, yes, Evil Dead are fun, wild, gore heavy movies, but each one does have weight to it because the characters care about each other. And I do think the way Alyssa Sutherland's character behaves is heavily influenced by the fact that she's a mother.
Yeah. Agreed. No, yeah. Yeah. So like interesting. I just I love the little like, Evil Dead franchise conversations, because once again, there's no bad Evil Dead movie. So
No.
it's just like it's fun hearing how people take to it. And I do think it has a lot to do with like your how you love horror and how you watch it, because the comedy stuff works for me, and that's why 2 goes so high up. And like seeing other people put like Army of Darkness. Yeah.
Agreed. I literally said this to someone today too.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right,
Anyway,
so
we
now
can move on from that.
you're number 4.
My number 4 is Godzilla -1, because it's in the title of it's the title picture in the thing.
I had to include that one.
No, of course, because Godzilla belongs there. I'm not even gonna say like I'm the biggest Godzilla fan. Like Amelia owns like every single Toho one. Like I'm not the one who even owns it in this apartment and stuff like that. But I love me a kaiju film. I appreciate what Legendary has been doing with Godzilla and stuff like that. And I've seen my fair share of Godzillas as well, like from Toho. But the way that -1 is able to take the kaiju and still, like, Godzilla is a monster movie first and foremost. That is very much up front. It does wonderful effects work with Godzilla starting out before the bombing that turns him into the monster that we know with the atomic breath. Like, feels very Jurassic Parky at first, and then it goes into kaiju territory, which is very cool. It also does a tremendous job with storytelling, because you get this post-war, Japan is in a bad state, obviously, after the bombings that have taken place, and after the war is over, and all these soldiers are coming home just trying to like figure it out. And specifically, these are naval soldiers that it focuses on. So, they come home to absolute rubble. Like, their families are battered, beaten, their towns are decimated. And just as they rebuild, Godzilla attacks. And it's just, it's such a good fucking approach. It's such a good way to tell that story. And then again, to have the commentary beyond that, like, the director said, like, he kind of wrote a lot of this movie, at least the first draft and drafts, during COVID and during lockdown. And he felt that the government was failing us. So he was able to write a Godzilla movie about people having to come together without their government. And he did it using the World War II dynamic. And it's just like, it's smart. It's so good. So I was very much on this one. Godzilla -1 rips. I've seen it twice. Like, I don't rewatch things that often.
Yeah.
They sent out the Godzilla -1 screener for awards consideration. And I was like, yo, Dad, you want to watch this? And he's like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. And I'm glad it made the VFX shortlist, so that there is a chance could get
I
an
know,
Oscar
that's so
nomination.
fun.
You never know. Never know. All right. So my number 3 brings me to this. So I decided to get myself a holiday gift this year.
I know what you got. I already know
This
what you
is
got.
what I took. I held out for so long, Matt. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need this. And then the end of the year came. I'm like, yes, I need it. I need it. It's legit too. It's legit.
Oh, I know. I saw people posting them.
They're like, it's a big ass hand. It's a big ass hand.
It's the titular hand.
Look at that detail. You could smoke a little something out of it too. You see, fingers got a hole.
That's hilarious.
I don't really smoke, but I was told via the A24 website that I could burn incense on it.
That's so funny.
I just like, I love this thing. I love it. I love this thing. I love this movie. I love the fact that we got a new original horror movie in 2023 that is going to go on to become a widely beloved classic. I don't think Talk to Me was just a hot title in 2023. I think we're going to be talking about it for many years to come. Like all timer. I think the Filippo brothers are two of the most promising new directors we have. I think their understanding of both storytelling and then what it takes visually to execute certain scare scenes is above and beyond where most first-time feature filmmakers are at. I think they're going to go on to do big things. And I think they've created a mythology with this that has great franchise potential, not just me wanting more of like a hot new thing, but where you could actually use this concept to tell new interesting stories from different perspectives, because how people interact with this hand very much is affected by what they're going through in their lives. And I think that that is going to potentially make, if they want to do this, Talk to Me a really promising long running franchise. Fingers crossed. Exceptional movie, exceptional cast. Sophie Wilde, Joe Bird, everyone in that is A plus, top notch. Great work. Yay.
I'm glad you love it.
Now I'll just creepily sit here with my hands for the entire episode.
Yeah, it worked for me. I landed on good, not great. I think its legacy will be written by the sequels to come, whether or not we're talking about it that like aggressively. I think with the way that you're saying, it's something that, like, you know, I watched and I was like, cool, but years from now I don't think I'll be talking about it. That might change if, once again, the sequels to me kind of pick up the pace a little bit, but we'll see.
Let me think about this for a minute. I think you're wrong, Matt. I think you're wrong. I feel like I don't know if I'm doing the thinky face or like scratching.
I was like, you're using it as a scratcher, kind of. You're just like,
shall I scratch my back?
Yeah, just a little back scratchy there.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I'm so happy I have this. I am going to schlep this back to LA so I could.
Oh, I assume that will come back with you.
I also have an impossible time getting it back in the box now. Would you like to share your number 3?
Yeah, no surprise here. It's the Holdovers.
Good pick.
I think it's my favorite Pain. I'm trying to find a way.
Oh my god! It took me like a hot second to know what you meant by favorite Pain.
Sorry, no. I think it's sorry. My favorite Pain film.
Hurt your heart, Matt?
No. It actually did the opposite. I think
I know.
Once again, talking about just like nice movies about the idea of people coming together in the holidays, and it's the family you choose, not the family you have, stuff like that. I think The Holdovers does a tremendous job displaying that. I think Paul Giamatti might be one of my favorite actors. You know, I think just hands down what he's able to do character to character, and especially here, somebody posted the clip of just like how talented he is at conveying everything about a character in like a single scene without dialogue. And it's when he's walking along the path and picks up the football and throws it. And he's so proud of it in a weird way, but it's still just the worst throw ever. And like, you get so much about the character in that one single, like, just physical like that physical motion. It's just, Paul Giamatti is on a level that is just, oh my God. Crap. I'm blanking on Best Supporting Actress, but
Divine Joy Randolph.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having that ready. I do think Best Supporting for me right now, once again, to be beaten. I have not seen anyone better yet.
She's gonna run away with that.
I hope she does. Oh my God, I hope she does. So like,
I'm fully confident in saying it at this point in the race. I would be shocked if she didn't go on to get nominated and then win that Oscar.
Yeah. So The Holdovers is an easy one for me. Just a touching story that again plays with comedy really well, plays with the real heartfelt stuff well. And it just a nice little holiday film. Like that's when I can rewatch for the holidays. You know, that's more my speed.
Holdovers would be my number 11. It just got bumped off the list. And like that's one of those things where I do kind of feel like it's mood based a little. Like on the day I started assembling the list, it was a little higher, and then I put it down, then I put it up, and that's definitely a top tier 2023 movie.
Absolutely.
To me. I look forward to seeing it go on to get many
also
awards.
Underrated. If we're talking about underrated scores, I think The Holdovers is right there.
That's a good one. That's a good one too. All right, we know my number 2. I can make this quick and easy. It is Poor Things. Love Poor Things. The only thing I'll add to what we said before, in case you didn't watch my top 5, one of my favorite qualities of the movie, the thing that surprised me most, because I didn't realize this would be so strong in it, is the idea that it is a really inspiring coming of age film. Like obviously Bella goes through some tough and not so great things, but the fact that she is exploring the world from like an accelerated extreme perspective, and she's doing it with this really palpable lust for life and this, infectious curiosity.
Yeah.
It makes you want to explore the world in that way as well, and seeing how she processes what she sees and how it influences where she lands at the end of the movie, that is also very inspiring. And I feel like when I left my first screening and when I leave every single rewatch, having that like added power in me is something I really appreciate. So part of the
Yeah.
reason why Poor Things is my number 2.
I love it. No, agreed. My number 2 is not as empowering, maybe we'll say, but it's When Evil Lurks. It
Hey,
is
hey.
my favorite horror movie of the year, hands down. Nothing close to it. As much as I love Evil Dead Rise, as much as I love Godzilla and -1, I think When Evil Lurks is just, we haven't had a horror movie like it in a long time. Is the best way I can say. I think Damien Arugna, the director, who also did Terrified and also did a segment in Satanic Panic, is I think the horror filmmaker to watch at this very moment. I hope whatever he does next gets a huge budget and it gets everything in the world, because When Evil Lurks is not just like, it's not one aspect. Like the subgenres it's playing with, it's a possession film, it's an outbreak film, it is like a violent, gory kind of torture. Like everything it's doing so well. Like there's some Evil Dead comparisons in there where you are getting actors who like start as a character and then get possessed, blah, blah, blah. And if we're talking about Alyssa Sutherland, I think some of them belong in the conversation. Like there's a mother in this movie that is a very graphic scene and what she does. Did you see it? I apologize.
I did see it.
Okay, so you did get to it.
Yeah.
And you know the scene I'm talking about. And like, holy fuck, it's so good.
There's a couple scenes that are burned in my brain for life. I'm not as high on When Evil Lurks as you and the majority, because most people are like loving it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. There's some sort of like connection for me that isn't as firm. Like it missed the mark just like a little too much to get it into like my top movies of the year. But it's very, very good.
I'm a sucker for feel bad horror. Like I'm a sucker for like last year, like Speak No Evil and stuff like that.
You're a sucker for feel bad horror and for red horror.
Yeah, Reds, feel bads, but like I think When Evil Lurks just has so much more to it. Where like his first film Terrified was just about like, it was a showcase for jump scares, and I think this is such an evolution in a filmmaker to show that like they can actually tell a well thought out narrative involved into it as well. So like just what it's saying about no matter how you try to escape what's happening, like you just have to confront it. Like there is no running away from problems. There is no running away from like, well, I can just leave this behind and it'll stay here. Like, no, your sins will always follow you and all of that. Like it's a really in your face, brutal expression of that kind of horror. And again, I think it's just unparalleled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you just last said, it does extremely well, extremely well. Before I say my number 1, I will say Straw Hat Guy's super chat here, and I'll also say Straw Hat Guy that One Piece was one of my favorite new shows of 2023. Oh my, hi Perri and Matt. It's been a while since I chatted here. Perri, not sure if you remember. Oh, but it's Javier from the Slack chat. Hello, how are you? I hope you're well. Happy New Year to you too, friend. It's good to hear from you. Thank you for the super chat today. Now my number 1. Everyone knows. I feel like you know this, Matt. My number 1 of 2023 is Scream 6. I will say to anybody out there watching, I don't care what you think of Scream 6. It's my favorite movie of the year. This is my list. Scream is my favorite franchise of all time. It means the world to me to get another great installment of Scream. And while trying to avoid repeating everything I said in my other video, I will say that one of the things in Scream 6 that meant the most to me was the fact that they tee up the core 4 as worthy, I'm not going to use the word successors anymore, but as characters who are worthy of standing side by side in like, the Scream pantheon of Sydney, Gale, and Dewey. Like they are top tier leads alongside them. And if things had panned out differently, I would have been so ready to say, totally pass the baton to them. They are like the next generation of Scream leads. They have earned that via film 5 and film 6, and that is just one of many elements of the new movie that I love.
I am very happy that you love it as much as you do. I'm not trying to be a downer. I actually mean it, but it to me it is one of the weaker Scream films, and it's in my, you know, again, if we're talking horror specifically, it's close to my top 20, if not in the top 20. I have some issues. And like, again, like that's saying I actually did the numbers. I've seen 130 horror movies last year. Jeez. So like to say it's in my top 20, like
you're already saying last year.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fair. This, whatever you want to say in 2023.
Most impressive. I'll be doing the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, like I'm very happy the Scream fans are loving this one, let's say, and I think it's good. I do not think it is bad. Do not get me wrong. So I wanted to see where this is going. It's unfortunate, you know. We talked about that stuff already, so
yeah. I'm like trying to talk.
Like there's nothing to go there. Yeah.
I'm trying to talk myself in a million different directions to find a little, you know, peace with that situation, I guess, so that I could I don't know, I can like wrap my head around what the reality is and like sleep at night, because a lot of it again makes me extremely sad. But I do think that there is a little bit of closure at the end of Scream 6 for the Carpenter sisters that, you know, obviously I think there could have been more, and I think there should be more, which is again a whole nother topic. I do think that there's enough closure for those characters, and I think they get a really beautiful scene at the end of it. So I'm glad that's there. It did come out.
Sorry, like it's just crazy. It's been a long year. It's been a long year, and like
that was the one movie for my montage where when I realized I had to download the trailer, I'm like, shit, that came out this year.
Hell yeah, it did.
January. All right. You're number one. I know you're number one, and I like it a lot.
Do you know my number one? All right.
I do, because I like process of elimination at this point.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, my number one is Past Lives. It's just as number one, it's a fucking debut, like for Celine Song. Like the fact that like it's a debut is insane. It's such a I think I learned this year that I'm really taken to like films about romance that aren't typical, let's say, like films that actually like address, you know, romantic elements in the world for like what they are, like complicated and maybe not always straightforward, and like, you know, not the Hollywood ending, if we want to quote fucking Anna on the Apocalypse and stuff like that. But I think Past Lives is so fucking well acted. I think the entire ensemble up to down, like there are just so many sequences, whether it's just like, you know, two people laying in bed talking about if they're really meant for each other, to like another person talking to the person they thought they were meant to be with, but it's just a distance thing or stuff like that. So like, I don't know, it just really is very heavy, but in a way that is uplifting. Is not heavy in a way that is meant to make you feel like you should feel bad for these characters. Like, I don't know, it's the way that like life should be lived, where everyone's just kind of saying what they want to say out loud, but also being very realistic about shit. And I don't know, it's just a really calming perspective and a very beautiful film.
Yeah, beautiful film on every single level. It's clearly not in my top 10, but it came pretty damn close, and it's definitely one that I'm rooting for most this award season. Missed a couple of super chats. First, Travis is here. Would Godzilla minus one qualify for awards this year or next? Great acting and great sound design and direction. It would be for this Oscar season. It did not make the short list or wasn't considered for international features. That's not on the table. It did make the short list for VFX though, so that's where you're going to want to look for a potential Godzilla minus one nomination. I also missed this one from Wiley. Did you guys get a chance to watch Anyone But You? I didn't, and I was asking so many people in Slack what they thought about it, because that was one of those ones, because I like the two of them, that I'm like, should I watch it? And I feel like I got some positive, but like maybe a mixed reaction or two.
Yeah.
Nothing to say about that. Okay.
I didn't see it, so I can't add anything to it.
Oh, well, I mean, do you want to see it?
I will see it eventually. I mean, again, okay. I want to see everything. It's just got to be not award season, not critic season, not every season.
Sam with a biggie here, a two-parter. Part 2 hasn't come through yet, but I'll take a peek at it. A supersized super chat and showing off gratitude for the end of the year. While I haven't had the pleasure of bothering Matt in person yet, getting to meet Perri and so many other incredible people from the Patreon group for the first time. Oh, dude, you didn't have to do two. Was a true highlight of my year. Thank you, Perri and Matt, for all the free entertainment. The two of you and everyone from the chat and Patreon are all awesome and amazing. I want to wish everyone a happy new year and all the best in 2024. Very generous and kind of you, Sam. You did not have to do this, but it is much appreciated. And I'll second what you said. A big highlight of my 2023 is the Patreon community and how we all get to know each other. And in particular, the group of you that I've had the chance to see quite frequently in 2023 at screenings. So know that you, Sam, and the rest of that crew is a very special bunch. And also, Sam, directly to you, that Scream Lego is one of my favorite things I've gotten all year. And Matt, he showed me a picture of your Chucky one. Holy shit, that is really cool.
Yeah, I've seen it already. I know. I'm next time I go to Burbank, I will be picking it up.
So cool. So cool. That'll be soon. That'll be soon into the new year. Thank you, Sam, and happy new year to you, friends. Annabelle is here. Looking great, guys. Festive gun show appreciated. No list because I'd be deceiving myself with any order. Instead, any movie / show, trend, or trope, new year onward, you'd want gone. Happy New Year, all.
So here's the thing about it. Like, to me, it's like, I don't want any trope to go away because like tropes are a pillar. Like, tropes exist because they're necessary, but it's just the idea that like somehow people don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
So like my favorite thing about tropes is when you see a trope you recognize and it is reinvented. So like I don't want to see any tropes go away because I want to see people keep reinventing them and find different ways to work around them. If that is a cop-out answer, I apologize, but it is my answer.
Yeah, I'm going to borrow your cop-out answer. I think the most exciting thing in the world is when you see something that you think has been overdone and like there's no more potential left in it. And then all of a sudden someone puts a spin on it and you're like, shit, that's really creative. So I think the fact that these tropes exist is probably a good thing because it, you know, it sets like a nice high bar for filmmakers to try to, you know, exceed your expectations for a certain thing. And it means a lot when they do pull that off.
Yeah.
With that, our New Year's Eve episode has come to an end.
It has.
I am going to go celebrate the holiday with my family. I'm going to wish you, Amelia, and Rogers a very happy New Year. While I'm looking at you, I'll probably I'll wind up texting you East Coast time too.
Yeah.
And to everybody out there in the Merri Hour community watching live tonight, watching after the fact, when you're able to watch this on demand on YouTube, whether you've watched one episode or all the episodes, thank you for being here. I still can't believe this, Matt, but for where are we at? We're over 3 years.
Yeah, we're over 3.
For 3.5 years. For 3.5 years now. This has been such like a bright spot in my week. I love doing the show with you, Matt. I love the community that we've built, and I look forward to continuing to build it in 2024.
Yes, I did everything you said, and thank you for bringing me into this wildness in the community by letting me be on this show and do what we do. Also, though, before leaving, can we acknowledge Caleb? Thank you, Caleb to save the day.
Oh my God, I can't believe I almost didn't say anything because
I wasn't going to let you get away with it.
Is it jinxing you if I say, like, is it done?
Check it should be done, I think, at this point. Check the score.
God.
Unless Tyler Lockett put up 30 points, I win.
Shit.
Which I don't think he did, and I think Christy just said congrats on being champ. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Like
it's over.
You really blew Donovan away. Ultimately, it's over. He has a 0% chance of winning. I will say congratulations to the 2023 PNEMI Patreon Fantasy Football League winner, Matt Donato. That means you need to tell me which charity you would like us to donate to on your behalf.
I will also look into that.
You get a Patreon Fantasy Football trophy, which
I'll
be able to hand it to you when it arrives.
Amazing.
So congratulations, Matt.
Amazing. I said last year was a fluke. I told you. I was like, last year was a fluke. I'm coming back this year.
Bye. that's it. And we'll say again to everybody, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We will see you in 2024 with a whole new year of Merri Hour episodes.
Do
Everyone,
it all again.
stay safe. Have a good night celebrating. And we will see you in the new year.